Hey, what's up guys? I'm going to show you what I just got in the mail today. I'm quite excited about this. I ordered a Super EverDrive. If you don't know what this is, it's a flash card that you can use on your Super Nintendo and play ROMs on it. Which is nice because I don't really like playing emulators. You know, you have to use a computer. I can never get controllers to work like perfect with the console. But with this, you can actually load ROMs and pop it in your Super Nintendo and it should work 100% no problem. That's pretty fucking awesome. So, the only problem is, I bought the slightly cheaper version, $20 less, but it doesn't come with its own cart. And the one problem is, on the back, see the SD card slot, it pops slightly out, so it's actually protruding slightly from the cartridge. So, I'm going to attempt to make my own custom cartridge for it. And I ordered this from Stone Age Gamer, and very nicely they include a little sticker you could put on, which is nice. So I have my Sacrifice Jeopardy Sports Edition. I spent about $2 on this. And basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove the sticker, get that out, and I'm going to cut off a piece here so the SD card will be able to fit out. And that should be pretty easy, I'm hoping. I think all we're going to need for this little project is a screwdriver to open up the cartridge, wire cutters. I'm hoping this is all we need to break the plastic. And we also have a little sandpaper to make it a little even. You know, you don't want it to be too rough around the edges, or at least I don't want to be too rough around the edges. And also, a hairdryer to help get that label off. Apparently this should melt off the glue and make it easier to pull off. If not, I'm going to go with Goo Gone. I haven't done this before, so it's going to be a bit of an experiment for me. Now, mainly, for me, the reason I bought this, I mean, I've always wanted one, but they're a bit expensive. The bare bone model that I have right here is about $85 with shipping. But for me, I had this really nice game, Terra Enigma. If you don't know what it is, it's one of the best RPGs on the Super Nintendo. Problem is, to play it in English, it's an expensive card to begin with, but you also need an extremely rare converter. About the only one that works is the Action Replay MK3. And these go for about 70 bucks. Problem is, mine took a shit about a year ago, and I haven't been able to play this great game. So, instead of going out and buying another one of these, you know, for 70 bucks and having it crap out in like 2 years, I figured, fuck it, spend slightly more and get the EverDrive. And also, if you didn't know, these things are fucking funny as hell. You put the game on the top, and then you stick the Super Nintendo game of the region for the console in the back, and it creates this disaster. But it did work. But anyway, let's go to the table and start dissecting this, and hopefully everything turns out perfect. So here we have our Jeopardy Sports Edition cart, or whichever cart you have that you just really don't care about, you want to get rid of, cheapest thing you could find. First thing we're going to do is we're going to get rid of those screws. Take the shell out. Now for me, I'm not going to bother to keep this, so I'm just going to throw this away at the end of the video. And you know, while you're here, you might as well make sure the thing's nice and clean. You know, since it's already open, get a little rubbing alcohol, a little soap. Make sure there's really no dirt around, because there's really no need for it. Put that aside. Make sure you don't lose the little screws. Now, what I'm going to do here, I'm going to attempt to get rid of this label. So to do that, we're going in with the hairdryer. So, I'm going to play some nice soothing music while I do this. I'm going to try this for about 3 minutes. That should be enough to melt away the glue, I hope. Let's see if this peels off easy now. Oh, yeah. Wow. That thing is actually extremely hot. Yeah. Huh, that came off a lot easier than I thought it would. And you know something? It didn't leave too much residue behind. There's a little up top. I'm going to use a little Goo Gone to make sure that gets quite nice. And also I'm going to wait a little while and make sure this thing cools down a bit, because if I put another sticker on top of it right now, it might not stick properly because it's really hot. So, back in a few minutes. Alright, and we're back. It's been about probably 4 minutes or so, and the cartridge has cooled down. It's back to room temperature. I said there was a little residue, so I used a little Goo Gone and got rid of that, no problem. If you're a collector of pretty much anything, you probably have a little Goo Gone in your collection. This stuff is fucking fabulous. But anyway, next step, I think, is we're going to put the sticker on. Now I'm going to be very careful about this, because I really, really don't want to screw this up. Pretty good like that so far. And we're just going to slowly go down. Peel a little, push down. Yeah. I think I went a little bit high on that. Yeah, a little off center on the bottom there, but I think I went just a little bit too much up top, but oh well. That's not too bad. It's fairly level. I can live with that. Just push it down. And yeah. Looks pretty good to me. Now, put that to the side. We're going to be working with the back part now. So I'm assuming we're just going to put the EverDrive in, and I also love how it says front side and back side. Love it. So we're just going to line that up. And as you see, with the SD card in there, it doesn't fit all the way. You can't close it. So what I did is I took a Sharpie and I made little indentations, made little marks with black. It's where we need to cut plastic off so the SD card will fit. So here comes the fun part. We're going to go in with our wire cutters and hopefully break off just enough of this so that SD card fits in. I want to point out that it's very close to the tab right there, so I don't want to break that. I mean, I'm sure if I do it won't, you know, hamper it too much, but I'll just line that up and squeeze down. That didn't really cut it. Shocker.
Alright, this is going to take a little while, so listen to this in the meantime while I work on this son of a bitch.
A surprising 15 minutes I've been working on this with a wire cutter. I mean, I've been going a little bit slower to make sure it's been nice and neat, but this is actually taking me a lot longer than I thought. I thought it would only be like 5 minutes. But right now, that's my results, which is very crude, but it's got to the point where I can get the EverDrive to fit in there, you see? So yeah, it's in there right now. Feels very secure. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take a little bit of sandpaper, pretty much any grit will work. I'm just going to rough off these edges, because I want it to, you know, not look that bad, you know. Homemade and all, but... So yeah, I'm just going to work on it, sand it down a little bit, and make it look as nice as I can. Alright, and that should be good. And it's kind of hard to see. Let's get the shell on there. Makes it a little easier to see the giant hole we made. So, I think I did enough so where this is going to fit in here just peachy. Yeah. You know what? I'm going to work on it a little bit more. It's a little bit tight at the edge there. I'll just sand it for like another minute or two. So I finished sandpapering it for like a good 3 or 4 minutes to really make sure it looks good. And guess something, it's actually turned out not as bad as I thought. As you can see, you do get really close to this edge here, so I recommend just sandpapering, you know, doing the majority with the cutter, and then just kind of sandpaper the rest off. It takes a little longer, but you know, you don't want to risk breaking that. It'd look not too good, and I mean, I'm sure the cartridge would close, but I think this looks better. Close her up. Let's see how it looks. Got our SD card in there. Line it up. Fits nice and snug. But, there we go. So you can see it actually doesn't look too bad. I mean, you can see it's a little rough around the top. But you figure, if you buy the cartridge from them, they charge $20. Or you could just buy, you know, very cheap, kind of shitty game like Jeopardy for $3 including shipping, and save yourself $17, and you know, you got the same product, and it only looks a little bit rougher. So yeah, pretty happy with that. Let's go test it out and see if it was all worth it. Alright, so we got our game right here, Super EverDrive. I got the SD card already in there with a few ROMs loaded up. Before you get this started, you need to go to their website, crits, however you pronounce that, and you need to download the latest software update so this thing will work. Once you do that, it actually runs perfectly fine. So let's pop it in and get started. It's very easy to use. You just go to ROMs, and you pretty much just load up whatever one you want. I'm going to start off with Terranigma since that's the one that I've been wanting to play for a while now. The games seem to take roughly about 20 seconds to load. Some take a little longer depending on their size, but 20 seconds seems to be the average. Although some of them are a bit longer, like Tales of Fantasia. That takes probably about a minute almost because that's such a big game. So as you can see, Terranigma's running up just fine. So let's just pick the file. As you can see, I've been playing for about an hour and a half now. This is one of my favorite games, and the autofocus has gone crazy. It's... hold on a second. There we go. But yeah, I haven't noticed any problems with it. No lag. The game's saved just fine. It's like playing, you know, the actual official cartridge. It's bloody great. And I really recommend you play this game too, Terranigma. It's great. It's a good action RPG. So let's go check out a couple of other games, you know, make sure there's no problems with anything else. And to do that, you need to reset the system and it'll bring you back to the main screen. The root folder, pretty much. So you just load up ROMs. Another game I've been playing a lot of is Rendering Ranger R2. Just like Terranigma, I haven't had any actual problems with this game. It's running perfectly fine. No graphical glitches, no sound problems. The game responds exactly the way it should, you know, no lag. This is another great one. Although this game does have some serious balance issues at parts. If your weapon isn't fully charged, you're practically dead, because everything takes so much hits. This is a great game, too. Alright, another really great thing that I love about the EverDrive is the fact that you can play, you know, translated games. You know, like Tales of Phantasia was never released here in English, so the only way to play it would be in Japanese. But this allows you to actually play the game in English, which is great, because Tales of Phantasia has actually been one of those games I've been really wanting to try out. Alright, so that has been the Super EverDrive. This is a really nifty device, really great. About the only problem is the compatibility. It has really good compatibility, mind you. It has about 95% compatibility with every Super Nintendo game, so it can play a shit ton of games. The only problem is it can't play games that have special chips in it, like Star Fox has the SFX chip. That's not going to work. Same goes for Star Fox 2. Some other games would be like Mario RPG, Mega Man X2, X3, Kirby Superstar, Yoshi's Island. A couple more games, you know, really good games, unfortunately, that this can't play, but overall, this will play a ton of games. You know, you still got Castlevania. You could play Earthbound on this if you want. You could play a lot of games, and this is really, really good for 80 bucks. Highly recommend you find one. They're not too hard to find on the internet. You know, you can buy them from Stone Age Gamer. They still have them in stock. So yeah, I'm really happy with that purchase, and I hope you liked this video. You have a good day now.